is going on, everybody, and welcome to the 1% podcast. I think I looked at the camera correctly, so we're good.
You did.
This is going to be fun because I know Corey, but I don't know Corey.
There's lots to know, guys and girls. Strap in, you're in for a bumpy ride.
So for me, what I want to do is take it back.
Okay.
So to get context on who you are today, what do I need to know about you from younger you?
No comment. No comment. I've been advised by my solicitor to say no comment.
The best way.
100%. Okay, well.
Like high school, you don't have to go back. Like, what was family life like? Like, born, raised, like.
It was. Do you know what? It was incredible. It was a journey that now, with perspective, being 30 in 2 months' time, if anyone asks, still 26, I'm grateful for every single thing that I learned through the process. It's made me who I am today. That isn't to say that it was easy, because naturally, whilst you go through those development years, whilst you go through very, very vital periods of time in your life that, in actual fact, you need to understand maybe different lessons.
Yeah.
I got lessons that helped with so many areas of my life. Say survival for a start, in some way, shape or form, being able to be resilient, being able to not only take no's, but take pretty big and catastrophic moments of my life that I didn't really think. I almost wanted life to swallow me up at certain periods of time. Wow, this got deep very quick, isn't it?
That's good.
But yeah, I was in a position as a child where I had an amazing upbringing in some areas, but in some areas I was still taught maybe less productive ways of, as I said to you earlier on, actually, effective communication. How to manage and regulate emotions. And for a young man who was involved in high-level sport, I played rugby. I then found myself in a position where I transitioned into bodybuilding, walking around and living 110 to 120 kilos. That's in the broken world that we live in, where you are challenged. There are people who have difference in opinions and are happy to share it, and we don't live by the thought and practice of love thy neighbour and treat others how you want to be treated. That led me down some seriously bad times in my life, but I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Now being in a position, I mean, my life's completely flipped upside down. I've had an immeasurable amount of progress within my mental health, within my physical health, within my entire life within the past 12 months. I think, well, do you know what? I'm glad everything happened exactly the way it did, because where I am today means that I can only progress and get better. You know?
I was in that childhood. It's weird, isn't it? Because we're both nearly 30.
Yeah.
I literally have the same thing. Like, I'll recap and I'm like, that's why I'm fucked.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And you sit back and be like, okay, don't know if it's just a 29, 30-year-old kind of thing, but you sit back and you're like, oh shit. What was a couple of those lessons that you sit back now and you think, wow, like that was the thing that I'm really working on now, is because back then?
Do you know what? I think taking criticism was really difficult. You know, I wanted to be a professional rugby player. That was the goal. I have had untold amounts of time in therapy over recent years. And when you go through, I've had rapid transformational therapy, which is going into like a hypnosis state, where you can really explore the seeds that were planted really early on in your life. Yeah. And I remember periods of time where I would get told that I would never make it because of this. Now, telling a 15, 16-year-old that in the height of academy age group, where your entire life is being built every single weekend, 3-4 nights a week, I would be playing rugby, being driven around the country. And you go from feeling invincible and unstoppable because you have blind faith to actually being in a position where you don't feel any good at all. Yeah. And I think that type of emotional regulation, that's when somebody needs to be stepping in and saying, putting their arm around you and saying, you can still do this. So that was a that was discovered in a period of time whilst I was going through hypnosis and rapid transformational therapy. That was founded by Marissa Pearce, which if you want to read Tell Yourself a Better Lie.
Okay.
Absolutely incredible. It's basically the fundamentals of it is I am enough.
Yeah.
Right, which all of us need to. Do you know what I mean?
We all need to read
Mic
that.
drop. See you later. Closing off. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye. But when you start telling yourself that, and you can call it the power of positive thinking, you can call it good vibrational energy, you can call it the Holy Spirit, you can call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
When you have that embedded in you, you will be a better, more successful, higher operating person.
Yeah.
So yeah, traveling back, that was one of the big turning points for me.
Yeah.
But down a negative spiral as opposed to positive.
Where did those words come from? Did they come from coaches, or was it?
Yeah, head coach, head academy coach, and it was very much. And do you know what? Looking back at it, if I was maybe a little bit more robust, or if I did have the reality of somebody saying to me, "Cool, just practice a little bit more." The problem is, I'd come from a family environment where there was a lot of expectation. Nothing wrong with that at all. No. Like my mum and dad wanted me to do well. I was very good.
Yeah. And
naturally, you would want it. I'm not a parent, and at any point in time, testosterone, make your way through. Hormone replacement therapy. Goodbye. We're going through regeneration at the moment, guys, so I apologise. I'm leaning into the mic again, but I'm not a parent, and I don't know what it's like to raise a child. But I do know that in any moment in time, every single one of us are always trying to do the best we possibly can.
Yeah.
And that's it. Right.
Yeah.
So there's been times where I've looked back with resentment for how my relationship has been with my parents, but in actual fact, I praise them. And for whatever reason that maybe I am, or we are a little bit fucked up, right? Yeah. No parent would ever do a better job than they possibly could have.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a question of, well, maybe they need a bit of personal development. Maybe they need a little bit of perspective. Yeah. Unfortunately, if there are some broken children along the way, we have to be those individuals that break the chain and don't carry that trauma, that emotional irregulation forward to make our child's lives and moving forward a better experience. Do you know what I mean?
I think we grew up in a very different era, because if obviously we are the same age, so our parents are probably the same type of age as well. It's just so different. We grew up in a world where there wasn't technology to an extent.
Nope.
Then there wasn't this awareness that we have of literally what we said out there. Do we actually feel like guys anymore? Like, how does this world work type of thing? So that transition of we're learning a whole new life. Because we were just born and raised being I remember my dad being well, don't cry. I played rugby, the same thing. It was do not cry. Yeah. Do not do this. Do not do that. Show your strength and stuff like that. And now it's some days I sit there and be I'm sick of being just trying to be strong.
Yes.
I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
And we're trying to learn this whole new, demographic of how to be a guy.
I think the environmental problem is really how we are set up as human beings, right? I mean, I mentioned earlier, and I don't want to start really pushing the reality of religion and faith, but it's when you talk about the reality of what, let's say, Christianity could give you, right? When you say, okay, love thy neighbor, treat others how you want to be treated. Is anybody listening to this, and could you say that isn't a good moral code to have embedded within our lives, right? So I think when we talk about the world, it's I really struggle with the reality of how quickly the world has escalated from back in the day having a hide-in from lads who were 3-4 years older than me because I was a cheeky little shit, right? And I needed a slap. To now kids taking knives to school. Yeah. I can't comprehend that. No. So it's really, really difficult. And you talk about the power of social media. It can absolutely destroy kids, and obviously us coaching, I'm sure you've probably seen a little bit of a correlation, and I have, in younger generation in comparison to the older generation, how hormone irregularities occur. The reality of how mentally stable or unstable individuals are. and how much you've got to fix as a result. And we know what stress can do to the body. There is more to stress about now than there ever has been.
Yeah.
And we're now in a position where we're in one of the busiest, most heavily thriving countries in the world, and we're like, fucking hell, not only have we got to discover ourselves, we've got to discover a whole new way to live and execute our life, and think, right, what does retirement look like, what does kids look like, what does family look like? So there's a shitload going on, really. It's all a bit of a fucking mess.
It is. I think it's just...
I'm going for this water, by the way.
No.
Oh.
But I think it's the thing, is like, and then I take a step back and be like, do I need to work it all out? Do I need to have anything like... Did our parents know how to be parents? Did any of this, like, do we know how to, like, handle our business next week? I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to wing it and just point and aim. And as long as, like, I think, like you say, is like staying just true to, like, the morals of who we are. Like you say, like, even like you say, Christianity, it's like, just try and be the best person I can, try and be good to everyone, try and be the best coach I can, the best partner I can, the best guy I can, and just fucking sometimes just hope for the best. Yeah. Because like we got here by winging a lot of it, to be honest.
And you're a shining example of that as well. And I would honestly say that. So, and I respect you for it, because you know the reality is each and every one of us should stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. We should stop trying to prove ourselves. We should stop trying to look for external validation. We should look within ourselves and just say, right, does this make me happy? Yes or no? Yes, brilliant. Well, I'm going to continue to do it. And I'm going to do it unapologetically, providing I do it with good intentions. That's it.
Yeah.
If you can do that, you will live a long, happy, prosperous, successful, incredible life. If you can't, and you're constantly searching your competitors who aren't competitors on Instagram, if you're constantly second guessing yourself, it's already written anyway. Regardless of what anyone does, I honestly will tell you 110%, we were supposed to be here today and we were supposed to be having this conversation, and whoever is listening to this, bar my mum, thanks mum, whoever is listening to this will receive the message that they need to, point blank.
Yeah.
However, with that being said, what breaks the chain is by not acting with good intentions, not acting with good morals and virtues, and trying to do something that you are essentially resisting anyway. But we have this massive thing now, and you talk about male dominance, I suppose, dominating our body, having ownership over every single situation, and you're not living in high spirit, good energy or positive energy. What you're doing is living in negativity, because everything is for a purpose other than just happiness.
Yeah.
I truly believe that.
I heard an interesting, I don't know how you feel, there was this one being, do you search for happiness or do you search for peace?
Peace, every single time.
Because I think it's impossible to hunt for happiness. I know everyone says it like, if you just dive in and everyone's trying to be happy, I'm like, you're not going to be.
No.
And it's okay.
No.
But like, I think if you can be unhappy and peaceful,
I
think that's, we said it out there, just being like, if you can just accept, that's the biggest thing. And even like, I can divert it to like, obviously we were talking about our partners and stuff like that. And I'm like, because it was the same sort of thing, like, we broke up twice.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So like, and again, it was all communication. It was all not understanding how the individual receives love or how they accept things or how they communicate and things like that.
Yeah.
And again, we said like both of them are very strong, independent women, and that's always like a really kind of hard thing to understand as well and learn. But now when you can learn it, you're like, sick. This
Mate, I'm still on page 1. I've reread it 150 fucking times, I tell you.
But it's very different than like, okay, like as a male, we just know provide, have a princess, look after them. Like that's actually simple blueprint.
Yes.
Yeah. But now you're like, oh God, like this person's amazing. How do I learn this whole new algorithm of this woman, which is now probably a more common thing as well.
Yeah, and I think there's also a thing of self-discovery as well, self-understanding, self-awareness. One of mine and Mads's biggest problems was we didn't actually know ourselves. So how on earth could we know each other? And then also, did we really love ourselves to the full capacity that we do? And I genuinely believe, and the big turning point in our relationship and any relationship will always be prioritize number one.
Yeah.
Now, that may sound super against the grain, and I'm sure there's some relationships where, you know, you've got one, and there will always be one outweighing the other in some way, shape, or form. It's never 50-50, right? Because somebody's always going to have to carry the other, and if it can be 50-50, it's not for a very long time. However, the reality of both of you showing up together, and I gave you an analogy of the dancing, right? Yeah. But the analogy for showing up for one another every single day is being fully 100% confident with who you are and what you bring to the table. Because if you don't, then there's always going to be a level of insecurity, uncertainty, level of communication breaks down, and there's only one way the direction of the relationship is going to go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's also a thing. I think there's a massive emphasis on strong women being a bad bitch and all of that bullshit. Pussy power. Like, I'm for it and I love it, and anything that empowers anybody is positive. The only thing I don't really directly agree with is the reality of when it becomes too far. So you can talk about masculine energy in a female, you can talk about masculine energy in a male. There's a very, very, very fine line between what is positive and what is productive. For example, like Mads is fantastic at organising.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I do not give a shit. I'm ADHD. I can, as you said, wing it. Yeah. I just roll into gas, not knowing what the fuck I'm doing. I'll put a face on like I know what I'm doing. And I'll just pretend like I know what I'm doing until somebody believes me. Yeah. If not, I'll be told to leave. Right. Yeah. So I don't care if Mads wants to book the flights for holiday. Fantastic. Yeah. There needs to be some level of, I think, from a masculine energy female where they actually drop that back a little bit and allow themselves to be fully vulnerable, fully women. They don't need to control the situation. Let me book it. Yeah. Trust me to do so. And there is the trust. Like, are you capable of booking a flight? Like, yes, I survived 23 years before I met you. Like, I'm sure I'll be fine for the next 24 hours. Yeah. But then there's also the reality of the male stepping up to the plate. Yeah. And it's very easy to be lazy with women like that. Where you're like, everything just happens, it's easy. And if you are one of those males, I personally believe, if you are one of those individuals and men who the world just evolves around them. Have you seen that video of the Australian guy who talks about the magic table and the magic washing machine? No. Okay, so long story short, his wife is going absolutely mental and she's like, I can't deal with you anymore, you're a lazy piece of shit, you never tidy up. And he's just like, all right, I understand, let me let you into a little secret. He said, okay, so you see this coffee table? She's like, yeah, this coffee table's magic. He said, because I just leave untold amount of shit on it, and overnight it all evaporates, it all disappears. And I push it and I push it and push it, and then she's like, I can't fucking deal with you. No, there's more. This is the washing machine. It's a magic washing machine. It washes and folds all of your clothes and it's back in the wardrobe within 24 hours. You know who's doing that, don't you? Obviously, right? And then she leaves, and the next clip is police officers in the house with the guy, and he's just like, I don't know what happened. She must have fallen on the magic coffee table. And there's a male police officer and a female police officer, and she said, and the female police officer goes, are you fucking mad? And the male police officer says, no, he's not. I've got the same coffee table at home. Right. And the underlying message is, my wife does everything for me and I don't do a single fucking thing and the world just revolves. How resentful is that woman going to be until she just says, do you know what? There's no contribution here. Yeah. I'm doing everything. I'm fucking out of here. Yeah. Right.
And it is the little things.
Yeah.
The little things compound.
Yes, massively. 100%. Massively.
It's nice sitting here. Like, the reason I started this podcast is actually one of the reasons that reassure me that I'm not broken.
Yeah. That's right, you're not broken, mate. Well, actually, you are broken. We're all broken.
Exactly.
We're all broken.
Exactly, yeah. But it more so, it's just that reassurance that everyone has their own shit behind the scenes. Right. Everyone goes through their own demons behind the scenes. Everyone has their own development. Mm-hmm. And it's refreshing to know the thoughts that I have is the thoughts that other people have. Yep. Especially when it's the same field, right? Yeah, like when it comes from sport, bodybuilding, relationships, business, whatever it is. It's very refreshing. Yeah. From when did you transition from rugby into? Because I think I first started like really following like what you do and things like that was probably when you maybe 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, probably I think like classic area, I imagine.
Yeah, I think you would prep and you went to the US.
Yes.
Yeah. So when was that? 3
years ago. 4 years ago. No. 4 years ago.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Rugby. University, what was in that? Did you go to uni or?
Well, I went to Hartpury College,
Okay.
which was at the time, and I think still is, one of the best sporting schools in the UK, or if not Europe.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
touch
I've
on the
heard
world. Yeah. Fantastic facility. They were feeders for the Gloucester Academy as well,
Yeah.
based on their location. So I was there after the reality of almost losing myself during that process, which wasn't the way it was supposed to be. I actually ended up getting expelled from Hartpury because I didn't take, again, productivity of communication, effective communication, how to manage and regulate my emotions. I didn't have any of that. Got told no, didn't take it very well, became somewhat a problem on a self-destructive path. Ended up having a bit of a ding-dong with one of the lecturers on a night out and a student night, and then the next night or the next morning, I was in disciplinary meeting. After a number of them and last warnings, I then got asked to leave. So that was 17, 18. I then packed my bags, didn't go home for the safety of my own life, and went straight to London. Which was a big culture shock at the time. My brother was living there, doing really well, making his way. He's 5 years older than me, so we didn't have a lot of time together during that rugby path because I was always away. But we didn't have an amazing relationship when we were very much younger, and then as I got older and I started getting cooler and I was able to go out on the piss with him, it started to become a little bit more real. Although I always got kicked out within half an hour, so I ended up going home on my own after having a couple of WKDs, right? But I got to London, and Josh, my brother, offered to take me to his work and see if he could get me a job the next day. So I got on a bus to London with a suitcase, slept on his floor for the first 6 months I was there, because he was in a house share at the time, so there's nowhere for me to sleep. I had no money, and I just scrimped and scraped for the first. And unfortunately, from that time up until probably a couple of years ago, my back is just being like against the wall consistently. If it's not dealing with financial difficulty whilst I was in London, then it's dealing with my mental health, then it's having my health issues and suffering my heart attacks, and it's like, and then the real sort of almost nail in the coffin was, okay, you are here now, this is you. And there are some amazing times through that process, but certainly whilst I was in London before I met Mads, before we got together, and she's been my rock during this time frame, like big time. Prior to that, it was just chaos, like sleeping on the streets. I was in an apartment in East London called Bow Church. If anyone knows of Bow Church, you all know of Bow Church. When we moved into the apartment 2 days prior, there was a policeman stabbing outside. Right, so I didn't want to live there either. I got forced into it by Josh, thank you. But we had no money, and that was the only option. And we were there for about 3 weeks, and I happened to be at home on a Friday, and the front door came in with about 8 lads, and they kicked the shit out of me. I thought I was going to die. And it just felt like constantly running. I was constantly moving from one place to the next. I wasn't in one place for more than 6 months. Then I was on to the next one. And I genuinely just wanted life to be over, because I thought, I'm at the time 20, 21, 22. I've been at this for 3-4 years now. In London, trying to survive, trying to do it. And if this is going to be the rest of my life, I don't want a part of it. And that was quite scary. And in all fairness, and I look back with looking back with perspective now, understanding my position and relationship with God, the message that came through at that very moment in time was actually through my dad, which happens, you know what I mean? Messages and things that you need to know come through different people, and that's why I believe that this podcast will touch somebody. So I respect you for doing it as well and persisting with it, because you will help someone. But I ended up breaking down on the phone to my dad, and fucking hell. And he said, this is going to happen, and you are going to face downturns in your life for the rest of your life. The only way that you're going to continue to move forward is by giving it one more day. And I was like, fucking hell, I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
I needed to hear that. I was in a position where I was just like, I'll just give it one more day. I'll give it one more day. And whether or not it's positive, that underlying message has stuck with me through the entirety of the rest of my life up until today, and has given me the courage to see through one more day when I thought I just want it all to be done. I don't have a fucking clue how I'm going to get Mads back. I don't have a fucking clue how I'm going to continue to face daylight. I don't have a clue how I can even look at myself in the mirror at some points in time. And it was just like, just give it one more day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And see how you feel tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we're here today, and we're alive, kicking, and I'm pretty fucking happy. So, yeah, man. Yeah, it all happens. It's crazy.
Shit, just end it there.
Just end it there. I need to go back to therapy.
No, man. Like I think it's one of the, because I did the same. I moved to London, and it's a very similar. Maybe it's just a London thing.
It's fucking hard work, mate.
It forces you to it's
grow up.
It just chucks you in the deep end.
Yeah,
you have no choice. You think, oh yeah, like London, fresh start, like it'll all be big money, big life, and you're like, it's far from it.
Yeah.
But then it makes probably the transition of moving here. I was like, this place is way fucking easier.
Yeah,
like,
straight
if
up.
you can do London, you're like, you can do any other city.
Well, this is the thing. There's very much a thing where London back then, right? London 10 years ago was very, very different. Obviously, you're talking about, again, the environment, the risk, the safety that comes from being in a place like that. It's still a beautiful city. It just doesn't have the same foundation anymore. I feel like this foundation has been lifted up, shifted out, and then just a pile of shit has been put in instead. But I had some incredibly positive times during that time. It was just so incredibly hard when you're talking about, I had no plan B.
No.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's why it's intense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. But it's good as well.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, should we always have a plan B? Like, no, because it means then you're only doing plan A at like 60% type of thing. And then it's, like you say, like now it's like, I feel like the only reason that we can probably do what we do is just because I'm not great at it. I'm just very resilient.
Yeah.
I'm just very good at just keep going. Because eventually everyone keeps fucking telling me be consistent. Yeah. And somehow it's supposed to work out, right?
I think there's a big thing, and the common theme across successful people is their willingness to continue to be courageous and brave for something that they want to achieve.
Yeah.
That's it. Not every day is going to be a 10 out of 10 day, but if you're turning up every single day and you're doing the best you possibly can with the right intentions, I always say the right intentions will create the right actions that create the result.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So if you can nail that, if you wake up with the reality that, do you know what, the only expectation is for me to do the best I possibly can today, then you're going to be good, and the power of accumulation happens, right? If you're an arsehole in the process, then I believe in karma, so you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. When did you, there was a few things in that, obviously. When did you find out you diagnosed with ADHD? Was it ADHD?
When I started working with a woman called Geraldine Shields, she's my therapist at the moment.
Okay, so quite recent, I guess.
Yeah.
The last, year, 2 years?
Probably no. Past 8 months.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, 8 to 12 months, yeah.
Then again, it's one of the things where you can throw it back and be like, because like you say, when you at school and things like that, especially 17, 18, that's why you react how you react, and that's why you study the way that you study and things like that. And it connects the dots.
I read a book that made ADHD into a superpower, and it's called Hunter in a Farmer's World, because that's what we are. We're hunters. We haven't got ADHD. We're hunters. Yeah. We get up and we get shit done. Yeah. If we don't know how to do something, we'll find a way to do something. Yeah. If we were thrust into, and the flip side, or the normal people or boring people, are farmers, right? Yeah. And they are there to plan, and in the book Hunter in a Farmer's World, it talks about what farmers would do. What do? Well, they plan for seasons, they plant their seeds, and they watch the crops grow.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that, mate. Like, I'm hungry now, I'm going to find a zebra.
Yeah.
Do you know? And that is it. And I'll just go back to those sort of times and I think, where would I be then?
Yeah.
Well, I'd be in a pretty good spot. So although the world looks completely different now, it doesn't debilitate me. If anything, it's a strength, providing you're in the right environment. So again, Mads, she's a farmer.
Yeah, okay.
She has a little bit of hunter characteristics, but she's a farmer. Yeah. She plans, she executes, she knows exactly what she's fucking doing. Yeah. And she also knows exactly what I'm doing as well. Yeah. Now, I can come up with untold amount of ideas, but the reality of me seeing them through, based on your ADHD characteristics or blueprint, is like, I can hammer that for 3-4 days. If I complete it, great. If I don't, in that 3-4 days, I'm out. Right? And something I read about, which is a book called Why the Fuck Can't I Change? Again, amazing book. Was like the Pomodoro technique, right? Which you may have seen the Pomodoro salads, which is like mozzarella, tomato. I'd never fucking eat it. There's no protein in it, or ketchup. But it's the reality of how you structure your day as with somebody with ADHD, how you keep productive. So it's work, rest. Yeah. For somebody with ADHD or for somebody who wants productivity within their lives, you've got to understand who you, again, self-awareness. Yeah. I'm not going to sit down at a task. Most people can't, but generally you have got ADHD, haven't you? I'm speaking.
I probably do.
You probably do. Okay, so we as ADHD rejects. I'm joking. If you have got ADHD, one of the problems is your ability to actually stay locked in on a task, right, and not get distracted. It's the same thing as, I'm hunting this zebra or this cow. That'd be easy. I'm hunting this zebra, and you're like, gazelle. Yeah. Well, fuck off. I'm going that way. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So the way that I stay on task and the way that I manage my work is Pomodoro technique: work, rest, work, rest. Yeah. So I drain and exhaust my prefrontal cortex, which is again the main segment of the brain for concentration, uses the most energy. And then what I do, I recharge it by sitting down and watching Blue Planet. Yeah. Anything to recharge yourself. I have a meal. Sometimes I have done it. When I first read about it, I was just like, what can I do that I really enjoy? And I thought, I'll just watch fucking whales swim around for 10 minutes. That's all it is. 45 minutes of solid work and then chill. Yeah. Get yourself a meal, relax, and then go again. And then all of a sudden you look at the productivity push forward, right?
But like you say, it's because I haven't been diagnosed. I probably am with loads of different things, right? I think we can all sit here and label ourselves, especially when we're I think from sport from a young age, I'm like, it's the same thing. Like I competed for Great Britain for so many years, so you're just embedded into like an athlete mindset from 12 to 20. It's like straight away that's just a bizarre upbringing. And then over that time I couldn't read or write. I was the worst dyslexic, things like that. So it's like,
you didn't go to school because all you did is train?
Yeah, pretty much. And if I did, I just like,
you didn't do anything because you didn't need to.
But it's that weird thing, but then that whole time you're being told, being like, you're predicted an F, you're predicted this, you're predicted that, so you're told that you're going to be a failure straight away. Good school system.
Fantastic.
And then straight away, what happens? You walk out with U's and stuff like that. I'm like, surely your name counts as a mark, but clearly not. But that's the same sort of thing. I just think the labeling nowadays, it's like people do identify themselves and they have an issue, but you don't. Like that's the thing that I struggle with. It's like you said, like use that as your superpower. That's the way to like change that thing around. It's like, cool, like fucking, if you get me to sit and read a board, I'll like, start shaking. I'm like, I don't want to present in front of these people. But I'm like, get me to act out or do something different. Easy. I think it's just how, like you say, when you become that self-awareness and how you start to, again, it's just like learning yourself. It's just learning yourself and understanding how you tick, how you function, and then being able to communicate that, say, this isn't how I like it, this is how it works best for me, etc., etc.
And be in the right environment to be able to express yourself as well. Yes. If you had a 9 to 5 and you had to clock in at 8 o'clock in the morning, because that's how it works, you need to be there an hour before you start work, and the reality is you probably have to work late, you would get sacked. You are probably, I am unemployable.
Yeah.
Don't employ me.
Yeah,
like, unless I'm running my own business, I won't do anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, and that's the reality. If you are in an environment where you can thrive, and this is where that whole schooling system comes into place for people who suffer with ADHD, or the reality that they're hunters, they probably can't sit in a classroom for 5-6 hours a day. Do you know what I mean? And read out of a book, and they don't want to do that shit. No. Whereas if you take somebody like me and you give them something ridiculous to do, that's a bit fun and expressive, you got my attention. Yeah. You have got my attention. So it is, what did you do for Great Britain?
Kayaking.
Did you really?
I used to play rugby because we grew up in we were in Henley, so our local college was Wasp Academy. And then now my cousin plays for Scotland.
Amazing.
Yeah, so definitely. It's literally the same upbringing, pretty much. And then I did rugby, and I was like, you got to pick which one you want to do now. So you're getting good at both. And I was like, probably pick the wrong one. I should have been quite good at rugby. But literally, that was it. And then
amazing.
That was a whole different ball game.
That's different, kayaking.
Very,
How did you manage? You just lived near a lake or what?
Pretty much. So my parents split, and then. So my mum, we always had horses growing up, so my mum got asked to look after or manage a yard.
Yes.
So we moved into this kind of farmyard sort of thing, and just down the road was a river. So she was like, I want to get some boats so we can get on the river. So I was thinking I was 9. So I was thinking, we're going to get fucking jet skis. I was like, yes. Literally go on eBay and just bought these dusty £100 kayaks. And I'm like, this is shit. So get on the summer, just spin around because I can't go in a straight line. And a guy walked down that lived a couple of doors down from me. He was like, I used to kayak and I was really good at it. He did exhibitions in the pool and all this sort of stuff, and he taught me, and that was literally it. He was like, you should go compete and do this thing. And
love
that. All right. And then I think I was 12 or 13 when I made the national team. I was like,
that's fucking shit. But do you know what? That is a really good example of making a shit situation a success. You go from a dusty ass kayak and literally paddling around in circles to performing for Great Britain. That's pretty fucking special, that, mate.
It is, but I think that's the thing, when you sit back and reflect on it now, all these things, it's the same thing. You're thinking, I got into coaching because I just needed to earn money so I could kayak. Selfishly, people said, you get to train people and they'll give you some cash. And I was like, fucking sign me up for this personal training shit, I'll do that. And then just start doing it, sick, getting some money in. This is kind of cool, quite like it. And then eventually COVID kills it all. I start doing a bit more online. Move abroad, when you backtrack it all, it's mad what's happened in the last decade. When did you start getting into, how did bodybuilding come into your world?
I have always coached and trained.
Okay.
It's an interesting one. So,
especially from rugby, right? Because it's all
strength and conditioning. Fortunately, I was in the junior development squad from 11, 12 years old. Okay, so one of my sessions every week was always strength and conditioning. And one of my feedback at the end of every season prior to pre-season was, Corey needs to put some weight on. Corey needs to put some weight on. That's probably a really negative fucking seed to plant as well. Thank you for that, coach.
There's body dysmorphia ticked off.
There you go, fantastic. Pass me the primo. If you can get hold of any.
It's true.
So that was always the focus. So again, dedicated parents. I had meal prep going to school. Right. Which was fantastic. Do you know what I mean? I wish I still had it. Really, I should have stayed living at home. Really, I'd be Olympian now. But yeah, so there was always a focus of me putting on muscle, putting on some weights, so I could continue to stay in line with the rate of progression that the sport was taking. And as a result, I actually fell in love with training. It was also a very good escape because I had a training setup at home as well. I could hide there. Right. So when times weren't great, there was only one place I would be. And that gave me a bit of an attachment to the reality of just being in that environment. Again, super unproductive from a relationship standpoint because my island was the gym. Right. So when things weren't going right, I would go to the gym. I would go to the bar. I would go to the bar. Sounds super heroic, but that's what I do. But the dependency started to kick in then, and that's when it turns unproductive. But yeah, so I had always been in that sort of physique development space anyway. And as a result, because I was young and because I was the only person actually really pursuing it, even in my local town, I would always be giving out plans. I would always be supporting guys. So it was always already really written. And I used to just write things on a piece of paper and give it to people, come back and see me in a week, and that naturally progressed it. I was coaching. Then I was coaching for money. I wouldn't say with any kind of finesse. It was just
give me 20 quid because it's time. I'll write this for you.
Exactly that. Until again around that sort of lockdown period where I was actually coaching a decent amount of guys then, and it was just like, oh shit, well, what am I going to do here? Right, and I believe that if you were a coach in and around the time of lockdown, you survived it and you were able to make progress with clients, that should be the confirmation that you are a good coach and you never have to second guess yourself.
It's true.
Because if you can get people in shape or keep people in shape and keep them in one piece mentally and physically during a time where you're not even allowed fresh air,
it's very true.
Like, you're a good fucking coach.
It's very true, yeah.
And I remind guys like this all the time when they have a question, when they talk to me as coaches, and they're like, I feel like I'm losing my fucking marbles. Like, I'm looking at this client and I just don't know what's wrong. Looking at blood work, there's nothing wrong. I'm like, have you ever thought that maybe they're just not doing what you're asking them to do? Because if you're doing everything right and nothing checks out from a lack of response standpoint on their side, maybe the plan in place is right, it's just not being done. Do you know what I mean? And you're a good coach.
It's always the thing, when you know so much, you'll overanalyze it.
100%.
You're like, let's get some blood work. You look at 70 markers and you're like, nothing. You're like, they're probably eating over the food.
100%. And maybe just an honest conversation needs to be had with that client and said, are we actually doing what we're supposed to be doing here?
Yeah.
And if not, like, no problem. Let's work out a way to do that. But I think naturally, obviously, the shorter amount of time you do this, the more pressure there is to keep up with the Joneses. You got a coach coming into the industry now trying to make it a business. You are really going to struggle.
Yeah.
And that's not scaremongering, but the reality is there are established businesses who have been around for a decade, who have been doing it and who have the security personally to know that they know what they're doing. Like, I don't need to learn how to coach. I just need to continue to give my service. That's what I need to do. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you're coming into the industry and you're trying to work out, right, how do I actually get clients to respond? How do I actually know as much as these guys? And how do I gain experience? Well, you're always going to be 10 years behind.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those industries where, like, we probably maybe like tech. I'm glad I didn't have any technology growing up, and we grew up with it. And it's the same with, obviously, like, because even when I started coaching, online coaching wasn't a thing. Like, it was just prep coaches. That was literally it. So you're like, I'll do him because I take training a bit more seriously. There was no such thing.
And it was in the gym. Like, it was, you had an area, you had a location, you had a region. Like, because you didn't really have social media presence, it wasn't a thing. When that happened, that really opened the doors for coaches. Because it was just like, okay, now there's the reality of power collaboration. Your reach was not only national, it was international. Okay, now you're really talking about creating and establishing a business. Right, now you need infrastructure. Now you need to know what the fuck you're doing, and manage your taxes. So just move to Dubai and everything's good. Do you know what I mean? But prior to that, there was none of that shit.
No, that's it. Like, if you jump in now, it's I didn't even thought about it jumping in now. Like, especially with, like, technology growth now, like, it's very hard to be even seen. So it's like, if you're not spending 500 quid minimum on ads a week, a month, are you going to be seen? Probably not. At all. And then vice versa, they're competing against people competing again. But, like, there is more competition in the market, 100%.
And the reality is, as a coach, I mean, what really sells your brand? I mean, it can be sexy reels, but it's not. It can be telling people you know what you're doing, but it's not. It's results. And I've been doing this for 10 years, and I've got 10 years of results. I've got 10 years of fucking shit Canva transformations when they weren't even Canva, it was just layout, or it wasn't even layout. You just, like, you just take a picture of somebody and say, look. So if you're competing with that, you got to be a real individual. You got to have some X factor. And the reality is, you might be someone who is an elite level athlete, who has a fantastic following, who can monetize your community. That's one thing.
But
you're only going to be pretty irrelevant for so long.
And it's the 1%, isn't it?
1%.
It's the same thing. It's like, you see people go on, like Love Island. We talked about this last night, actually. Like, if you go on Love Island now, like, if I went on there now, I'd be like, I can fucking do this because I know how to monetize it. Type of thing. So if I went on there, like, I can walk out with 1 million followers, sort of thing, and pretend to be a dickhead here, dickhead there, and then be a nice guy here. So that is it. But if you don't know how to do that, and also how to evolve that audience that's probably 16 years old.
well, I was just about to say, it's interesting because, you know, in that scenario, what would that actually look like now? Like, you go back to you remember like Towie, right?
Yeah, that
like
was great.
these boys early doors were making money because they were new, but they were authentic and they had X factor, and that's why they were on the show in the first place. I think there was a stat of like, people were tuning in to watch Towie now in the like thousands, as opposed to at the start of like millions.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of what happens. You're just feeding a dead horse. Just move on. Do you know what I mean? So anyone going into Love Island now, and I won't talk badly about any of these guys, but the reality is your ability to make it a success to the magnitude of, let's say, I know some of the previous winners, if I actually remember these. You know, like
I love it.
Tommy Fury and Molly May. Right?
Oh, were they on it? Is that how they got big?
Yes. Yeah. So they won it. Right.
Oh, shit.
And then
okay.
you look at like Molly May, like she's one of the most.
She's leveraged it really well.
Do you know what I mean? She's killed it.
Yeah.
I don't see any female now in that exact position being able to materialize that level of wealth, because she's an individual, because she's got her own thing.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're going to do that, like I remember watching it, and there was a lad.
Cool. I was going to say, the only one I knew was that doctor that went on around COVID time.
Yes.
Or before COVID.
Yes.
And then he like exposed COVID sort of thing, or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, Alex. Was his name Alex? Anyway, yeah.
I think it was, yeah.
So the reality of making these things a success when they've already had 10 versions of that is very, very difficult, because it's old news. Like, what are you doing that's new? And that's the point. People want new. They don't want the same old shit. Yeah. So if we were still punting the same coaching model from 10 years ago, or 10 seasons ago, like, people will be like, mate, you're well behind.
Yeah.
Like, if you ain't bringing something new, if you ain't adapting and evolving, like, you are going to be left behind.
Yeah.
Like the dinosaurs, extinct, goodbye.
That's pretty much it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the hard thing as well, because then obviously we have to see it from, I think the good thing is once you've got 5-10 years of like incredible results under your belt, and then you just have to learn marketing to an extent, and that's an forever growing thing that still baffles me. But I still do it now. I'm like, okay, what got me here? I'm like, just be me and document what I do a lot of the time. And it's like, okay, that still works, and just add in the flavours here and there type of thing. And
sometimes there needs to be a realignment in business as a whole, right? Realising your identity again. Have I gone a little bit off track? Have I tried keeping up with the Joneses? Have I copied that coach who's doing really well? Mate, everything's a highlight reel.
Yeah.
Everyone is $1 million coach, right? I couldn't give a shit what anyone else is doing. I love coaching my clients. I organically grow. Like, I don't do anything now. I barely even fucking put coaching content up, because do you know what? Everyone who follows me knows I'm a coach. I will validate my results when I want to do that. I don't feel the need to stick to a posting schedule, apart from posting my bullshit reels where I just talk over, which I will do for this, by the way.
They are really good. Do you know what? It probably has been in the, like, because obviously you made the transition, obviously, from like bodybuilding, and like you still are technically, but like, but it is nice to see like a personality. That's what's been really cool to see. Because before I didn't know you were like,
I had a sense of humour,
but just like a joker, and just like, you know what I mean, like really like 100%, because you don't know that until it's out, and until it start to see that long form kind of content type thing, or vice versa, it's condensed, and it's been really nice to see.
And that's the thing. You can lose yourself in the reality of trying to achieve something that is inevitable anyway. But if you're not going to be yourself, and if you're not going to be authentic, then it's a waste of fucking time. You're wasting your time, because eventually you are not going to be able to sell your shit that you are trying to sell. Whereas if you can just be yourself, don't get me wrong, like everyone needs to earn a living. So there's nothing wrong with punting your coaching content and being like, do you want to be a client? Like, I love the thing of just, I've got 10 available spaces. I've got 10 available spaces. Somebody signs up and he's just like, right guys, I've got 10 available spaces. That client's going to think you're an arsehole. And the other people that are watching are like, no, you haven't. You've got unlimited spaces because you want to earn money. There's nothing wrong with that. Just be real. Like, if you are someone who either has a shitload of clients, you're doing really well, and you know what, you probably do with upscaling, hiring
bringing on coach, whatever it is,
or you just say, I'm going to charge a little bit more. Like, I'm not actively taking on clients, because you know what, I'm really fucking happy. And if somebody comes to me, that they'll come to me for a reason. Because I stay in alignment with the Lord. I act accordingly with morals and virtues that I want to do. I express myself on Instagram the way that I want to express myself. If you come to me, you are my client.
Yeah,
if you don't, it's cool, bro. I'm easy. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I think as well, you take that step back as well. Like, you realise that actually, okay, do I live the life that I want to live? Again, it comes down to happiness and peace.
This is it.
Do I have happiness and peace now? Like, why? Because we're just, again, it's probably like athletes in us. Like, we have to do better every day. We want more. Yep. We have to do this. And you're like, but do we?
Yeah.
But do I? And half the time it's like, I still think this. I'm like, I'm just going to quit and live in a treehouse. I'm like, we're just going to go to Africa and just see the giraffes just pop up. And I'm like, that sounds way better.
Do you know what? When you step out of the squat rack and you do go around the world and you do some traveling, and I was fortunate enough to go to Tanzania last year, and I'm doing my diving search at the moment, and I was able to swim with sharks in the Maldives, and you think, do you know what? Since I've been in the water, or since I've been in this savannah, trying to hunt for elephants. It sounds terrible, that doesn't it? Trying to find elephants so I can coo. Yeah. It's just like, I haven't thought about my social media reach. Yeah. Although I'm taking loads of photos, so I can hopefully get those likes.
My top comes off every now and then.
Yeah, 100% every time. But it's just, it was interesting because when we got to the Maldives and we were snorkeling with nurse sharks up to 4 meters long. Incredible. There's about 50 of them because we were swimming just outside of just off a reef where they were feeding. Right, terrible idea. Like, go and jump in the water with loads of eating sharks. Luckily, 100%. Right, too full for me anyway. Maybe not for Mads, but it was interesting because we vlogged the trip. But the kit that we took to film underwater, we didn't get. Okay. Right, it didn't work. Yeah. It broke when we got there. They're memories that me and Mads will have forever together. That didn't make the highlight reel of Instagram. Yeah. But still so precious, and if anything more, because they're stories that we can tell. So if we connect with people and we're sat at dinner with a couple and they're like, have you ever been to the Maldives? And be like, let's tell you about this situation that we experienced. That's beautiful, as opposed to, do you two go to the Maldives and swim with nurse sharks? So true. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and there's purity in that. And I think if we took that away, and we maybe could, and I'm full of shit because I take pictures of everything, I video everything, right? Because I like it. I do, and that's why I do my reels, because I express myself. Right? I'm just like, I really enjoy trying to be creative. I don't have a fucking clue what I'm doing, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. But if you can, just say, this is just me and you now. Let's go make some memories. Let's bank them. Let's have that forever. That's so true. And if you commit to your relationship and you can stay together forever, there'll be stories you'll be telling your kids and grandkids and on from there.
It's so refreshing as well, especially in this day. Like, it's funny because I went kayaking for the first time in 10 years when I was in Australia. It's one of my old teammates. She lives out there and has kids. And do you know what? Like, you kind of said the water and got me thinking. I was just like, the water's definitely one of those ones. Like, I literally got on there. I was like, everything just seems so like, I just remember gliding on waves, how peaceful it is. Amazing. And nothing mattered. I didn't care if anyone texted me, didn't care if nothing.
Irrelevant.
It was just, but sometimes it's like, I wish, it's weird, but sometimes you're like, I just want that every second of every minute. But then you wouldn't know what it feels like because it would become the norm.
And that's it. So what do you do on a daily basis? What you do is you loop in all the way background. You go straight back to the beginning. You say, am I happy in what I'm doing? Yes or no? If I'm happy, I'm going to crack on. If I'm not happy, I'm going to change it. And if someone can have that self-awareness, and it is a therapeutic tool, I suppose, it's called realignment. If you are struggling with your mental state, being positive or negative, happy or sad, ask yourself, even down to, I was in a position where I was asking myself every fucking 10 minutes. I couldn't even decide because I asked myself so quickly. But if you ask yourself every hour, set yourself a time and say, am I really happy right now? Yes or no? Yes. What am I doing? Eating. Cool, carry on eating. You can be a fat fuck. But that's the point. If you're walking in the park and you're like, I'm happy. Well, do you know what? You're on the right course. If you're not happy, change it. Live a better life.
Yeah, man. 100%. He waved 10 minutes to me. I don't know how long ago.
20 minutes ago.
20 minutes ago. Oh, there you go. Easy. I will dive into one thing. I love how it's not been back bodybuilding. So fucking refreshing.
Thank fuck for that. I didn't want to walk over those coals today, mate.
But I know that you obviously mentioned it as well. You obviously had a heart I don't know, heart condition, things like that.
Yeah, I've suffered 2 heart attacks when I was 26.
How did that come around? Did you know, or is it just?
I'm going to try not to point the finger here, and I'm also going to try not to cast blame. One thing I will say is naivety and the need to feel better and be better than what you actually are at that very moment in time. And the positive inevitability that comes from time and work ethic is the most important thing. I'd come off the back of a junior bodybuilding reign where I just won everything.
Okay, so I think this is actually where I funny, because this is when you competed with Cam back in the day as well, right?
Yeah, I slapped his ass.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
He's never bodybuilt since. I'm only joking, Cam. I love you. So come off a reign of being a junior bodybuilder, literally won everything. False expectations, all real expectations of, do you know what, I could actually be pretty fucking good at this.
Yeah.
The problem is I was working with someone who was in the same mindset of I need to achieve everything now. Now, if you ask yourself the question, would you rather live to see your 10-year potential, or would you rather potentially die to achieve that in less amount of time?
Yeah.
What would you say? Well, obviously, I'll take the first option, right? Now, the problem that I was overexposed to gear. I utilized thousands of milligrams on a weekly basis, too much, like inexcusable amounts of gear, right? For inexcusable amounts of time, and then to transition into different phases, running the same amount of gear, just different compounds.
Yeah.
Bollocks, right? Now,
but also you're just getting so heavy so fast, right? Like so big and so fast.
It's naivety, it's lack of responsibility and lack of education for me, and then terrible management and guidance. All three, and I hold myself accountable for 2 of those, and I hold the other person accountable for the other, because at the time what I needed was slow down, core. You are going to be good. There's no rush. Instead, what happens? I came off my first open class season, and I had a heart attack. I finished competing in October. I went into a recovery phase running an untold amount of gear anyway, right? I had my health assessments done, which all looked great, which they didn't. And then I had a heart attack in January the 5th. And then I had my second one in March. Now, the reality is, untold amount of gear, being too heavy, unfit, they're eating over 1,000 grams of carbs a day, not touching a piece of cardio equipment for, at that point in time, 5-6 years, like, you are going to do yourself some damage. And that's the position I found myself in, and unfortunately, that redirected my career within bodybuilding completely. And one of my biggest regrets, more than anything else, was the fact that I still don't feel I did enough for the industry at that very moment in time to actually clamp down on it. The misuse of gear, the misguidance of gear, because I thought that me suffering 2 heart attacks as a good future potential world-class bodybuilder would be enough for the industry to go, whoa. Okay, we need to make some changes here. Coaches, take responsibility. Athletes, take responsibility, change. However, what's happened is people have still continued to do the same shit, and people are still in the same position. I have at least one consult call every single week with someone who has gone through severe health issues that now needs fixing and saving. And that is so sad. But I take responsibility to a certain extent, because do you know what? If I had screamed and shouted about it a little bit more, then maybe it would have been different. So,
but it's always that what if, right? It's always that what if, 100%. But also, again, it sounds like back then it wasn't as, no one sits and have a podcast about talking about fucking gear for an hour. Now you do.
Yes.
Because now nothing can happen to you. And nothing bad. It's like, actually, it's like an Eminem rap. You're like, I lived in a trader and things like that, and I took this, and like, say something. That's it.
100%.
But no, I've had the same conversation with Cam. I mean, I've had the exact same thing. And he's similar sort of boat. Obviously, he didn't have the health side of things, but he went through his own health kind of phase and stuff like that. And it's just... But also, it's It's a weird thing though, because I say this all the time, you get an athlete say you do this and you'll be the best. Don't give them that option.
No.
Don't give them the option because they'll take it.
For you have the potential and ability to achieve whatever you want to. I genuinely believe that. I believe in genetics, I believe in the 1%, but let's forget about those for a second. If you accumulate days, weeks, months and years for as long as you feel like you want to, you will grow, you will stay alive, and you will achieve what you are actually capable of achieving. If you take the piss, if you take too much gear, and there is such a thing as too much gear,
100%.
and if you haven't got, for you, for example, the amount of progress that you've made so far, if you haven't got a 5-year plan, why not?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I say to all my guys, right, okay, you want to be an IFBB pro. Okay, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And as a result, I will put on, some guys, I'll put on up to 10 kilos of stage weight in an off season, but they won't take more than 1,000 milligrams of gear.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. Yeah. Because I know that in 2-3 years time, you're going to have to be taking 12 to 1,500 meg.
Yeah.
And by then you're going to be a pro.
Yeah.
And by then the risk is going to have to step up a little bit, because to be going to the Olympia, for example,
you don't want to know what you have to do.
Yeah, and this is the point.
Yeah.
But you're never going to make it if you're trying to achieve 5 years worth of progression in one off season.
Yeah.
Because your body doesn't move like that.
No, never.
And you'll end up being in a hospital bed, all the grind.
Yeah.
And people do die from bodybuilding.
100%. Oh, you'd be silly to deny it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Mate, absolutely wild.
I wish you all the success, though. You're going to do great. Just keep turning up, stay handsome.
Yeah, try.
How piercing are his blue eyes? I've been dribbling the whole time I've been on this podcast.
That's one of the things, though, isn't it? It's like, that's one of the things that's like, there's definitely points where I'm like, I want to, like, even like hairline, right?
Yeah.
I was like, thank God, like, I'm just hairy, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's little things, I'm like, if there's a point where I'm like, oh no, I'm going to back off. Like, because I care about things like that too much
of course.
than actual other things. So now it's just one of those things that I just love it and I'm in it. So it's just, whilst it's there, whilst that passion's for it, I'm just going to keep going with it.
Are you happy? Yes. Continue to do exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Last little thing, because it's the 1% podcast.
Oh, shit.
What is that one thing? There's probably loads from this, but what's that one thing you can tell someone tomorrow to help them move forward? You've given plenty, so you can just be like all the above.
All the above. If you take stock of where you're at this very moment in time, and you ask yourself, are you happy? Yes or no? If you say yes, continue to do exactly what you're doing. If you say no, make a change and live a long, happy, successful, healthy, prosperous life.
Peace. We're out.
Love, mate.
Legend, man. Thank you so much. That was sick. Appreciate it.
Really enjoyed that.